Everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Toulianos, brought to you by his huge book, The Bible of Bodybuilding 2, over 700 pages. Everything you need to know about training, nutrition, supplementation, of course, PED use, available on Amazon.com. And when you're on Amazon.com buying books, check out Real Bodybuilding by Ron Harris. What a great book. Now, all the way from Athens, Greece, please welcome the good doctor, Dr. T. George Toulianos. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, Ron. So last week I started writing my new book in Greek. That is my biography, actually.
Wow.
And you are included in a separate chapter as Ron Harris. Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking about our story, how we start speaking online, and then we met 3 times actually, and we're doing this everlasting series of episodes. Yeah, and also including, of course, Rick Golden, Steve Blackman, Patrick Allen, Carl Lenore, and many other people that I met. Separate its journey, you know, the Arnold 2016, 2020, 2022, the Olympia 19, and the Olympia 22. It's going to be finished by the end of the year. I don't know if I will translate it. Probably I will translate it also in English, but you know, it's a story. It's not a fairy tale, but it's a story. So it's what I've lived in bodybuilding. You know, my history as a doctor mainly. Perhaps I will mention a little bit for how it all started. You know, lifting weights and then my shows. But it's not going to be something you know, scientific, but just, you know, a novel.
I mean, I like to read novels. I don't read anything. So you got to translate to English because I can't read Greek. Not one word.
Yeah, and I don't think. I mean, people are interested about gossip, but I don't want to say nasty things. You know, so it will be interesting. You know, easy to digest.
Yeah. No, I look. That's cool. I look forward to reading it eventually. So man.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we got another big show coming up in Spain next weekend, coming up with Krizanek.
Oh, yeah. He's in real good shape, and I think he'll get the qualification. Mohammed Mustafa, I think, earned in Toronto, no, or I am Bayer, huh?
And Bayer won that, yeah.
What was it? This weekend was another one?
No, we had one. We had this weekend off. No shows this weekend. Well, there were no open men. They always have like
Mustafa was really good, huh? Mohammed Mustafa was really good. Was really
Hassan Mustafa, because he's working with Chad now. I think Chad's bringing him in, but you know, he's still. It was a win. Ian won fair and square. We saw once we saw the high resolution pictures, it was clear Ian's condition was better. Hassan really needs to work on his midsection. Try to bring that in a little bit. It's thick. He's so huge with the arms and the legs and everything. If he had a little tighter midsection, it would all look so much better. But very impressive, Hassan. Very impressive athlete.
In Spain, where is that located? In Barcelona or Madrid?
I'm gonna guess Alicante. It seems like all the Spanish.
Yes.
It seems like they're all in Alicante.
Yeah, the NPC Amateur also takes place there.
Because it's.
Now, let me know how many shows are yet for the qualifications after Spain.
I think there's I think there's like 10 more.
All right.
There's a lot of. There's always more. I don't think we have as many shows as last year, but we have.
And when is the last qualification date?
I'm not sure because the Olympia isn't till November.
Yeah.
So usually it's like 4 weeks. It's a show like 3 or 4 weeks away is the last chance to qualify. I gotta check that out. I haven't looked into it. It's so far away, but it's coming right up. Because you know, a woman at my gym said, "I'm going to Olympia. I'm taking my son. He's very excited." I said, "Did you get tickets yet? You better get the tickets now." I said,
the tickets have been sold out, the VIP, but you know, hopefully Dan or Bob will give me another one in case I get the invitation for the Olympic University. I mean, this is the main drive for me, and I hope I'm begging Panata to be a sponsor. You know, because also Panata was a sponsor at the Olympia 1990 because he was part of the ceremony, you know.
90 in Chicago or 89 in Rimini?
89 in Rimini, yeah.
Yeah, because is that where he is, Rimini? That's where the
No,
Headquarters.
he's in Apiro, but in Rimini took part the festival. But yes, in Rimini was also the 89 Olympia, I think so.
Yeah. That was cool.
Mm.
I remember, we're both fans of Rich Gaspari. You trained with him last weekend. Rich trained, he spent like the last 5 or 6 weeks, I think, in Italy training for that show instead of training in America.
Yeah, he
Man,
took it very seriously. He wanted to, um, how you say, to be prepared in those conditions. I think he was third, second, runner-up, for second.
what was Remy? Yeah, I don't remember that year too well. I know Haney won, but it wasn't the best Lee Haney.
But he won the Arnold Classic that year also.
Yes. It was a long year for Rich. So,
By the way, have you watched the Netflix?
I've seen parts 1 and 2 of the Arnold documentary.
Right, yeah, part three is a little bit boring,
Yeah, I
but
think
one
so.
and two are phenomenal. I mean, you can watch it numerous times.
It was cool for all you Arnold fans out there. If you haven't watched it on Netflix, part 1 has footage I've never seen before. It's
Yeah.
old. It's like 8 mm footage from some of these
He
shows. But
said, "I lost from a chicken with 17 arm inches," referring to Frank Zane.
that's right. He
He
called him a
was crying the
swing.
whole night.
That's right.
And
But
this Giroda said, "Oh, he's too fat like a baby. He has to
no,
learn how."
the actual line, because Arnold, this is supposedly what happened. He walked into Vince's gym because Joe Weider said, "I'm going to have you train at
He's too
Vince's gym."
bulky.
Yeah, I mean, and Vince was a not a nice guy, not a nice man at all. He was kind of cranky, old, mean man. So Arnold says, "Hi, I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Universe," and Haronda looked him up and down and said, "You look like a fat fuck to me." That's what he said. That was the first thing he ever said to Arnold. So I think Arnold made his way because that was Studio City. That was across town. I think he said, "I'm going to find another gym," and he went to Gold's Gym, and the rest is history. So
That
yeah.
was in LA, Gironda.
Yeah, it was near Hollywood. It was because he trained a lot of movie stars, Haran. He trained like Clint Eastwood, Kirk Douglas, a lot of movie stars trained there. What's his name?
Rich Park.
Charles Bronson. Remember him from the Death Wish
Yeah,
movies?
tough guy. Yeah.
Robert, who played Beretta. He ended up going to jail for murdering his wife. I can't remember. I can't remember the actor's name, but he trained a lot of actors. So I think
Bertil Fox.
it's cool. What was his name?
Bertil Fox.
No. He trained Mohammed. Who's the smaller Muhammad that beat Lee Haney the first year? Muhammad
McCowan.
McCowie. He trained McCowie, I think, for a little while.
I
Yeah.
think he was his mentor. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was a good trainer. He was just not a nice guy. He's pretty mean. I never met him. I was afraid of him because he always looked like he was
Arnold
angry.
was a friend of Joe Gold, right?
Yeah, they became friends. Yeah, they became very good friends.
Yeah. So I picture hugging to each other.
Yeah. In fact, because when Gold's Gym and World, because Joe sold Gold's Gym and he sold all the rights and he had to start World Gym completely new. And Arnold was, really backed him and supported him with the new gym franchise, World Gym. That's why you see all those pictures of Arnold with the World Gym tank tops, sweatshirts, t-shirts over the years. He was always trying to help out Joe, and he did a great job. So, all right, we are on show 220. Is that right?
Yes.
Woof, good Lord. Well, like I said, summer's coming and we're getting more and more questions. People want to get in shape, I guess. So let's get to it. First one, quick question about pregnenolone. Is it better to take DHEA or progesterone instead of pregnenolone for brain health? And what are the benefits to the health of the brain? Pregnenolone for your
If you want to
brain.
take progesterone, you have to take it before sleep and always after sex because it will suppress your sex drive, but it will will calm down your nervous system. But pregnenolone is a better option because it will metabolize to progesterone. And also, by the way, HG will make up pregnenolone and progesterone because it favors the cascade of the steroidogenesis.
Okay.
And also, DHEA will metabolize to those pounds. So personally, I'm taking 50 DHEA a day, 50 pregnenolone a day, and 200 HG a day.
Wow. Are you on HCG all the time?
Every day, yes, I'm doing
Oh, okay.
200.
Good stuff. I don't know if you saw this question. What's your opinion on Derek from More Plates, More Dates?
What does it mean? I mean, more dates
Oh,
in what sense?
so you have no opinion. It's a YouTube channel. It's a guy named
The
Derek.
heavier you lift, what does it mean then?
I'm not really sure what More Plates, More Dates. It sounds pretty cool though. It rhymes, but Okay, so you're not familiar with him. He's got a YouTube channel. He actually owns a TRT clinic. Very, very bright guy. He does a lot of natty or not videos.
Derek
But
owns that?
what's that?
Derek owns this clinic?
Yeah, he owns it, and he's
Really?
only. I think he started. I think he opened it up when he was only 28 or 29 years old. He's a very smart young guy. I think he's
So
only
you
in
said
his
he's a businessman, huh?
businessman. He's a YouTuber. He gets millions of views on his videos. So yeah, so no opinion. I've seen a bunch of his videos. He's very good at what he does. Very good at making the videos and very intelligent. Let's move on. Let's go to: is it safe to mix losartan and telmisartan together? I am prescribed losartan, but when I bump up my test, my blood pressure rises, and the only med I can source is telmisartan.
Yeah, you told me Shorten, but I think it's the same ARB, but perhaps it's a one generation better. They told me Shorten, and you need to find your proper dose. I'm taking 80 milligrams of telmisartan, not for the blood pressure, but because it lowers the hemoglobin synthesis. Also, yes, TRT will elevate the blood pressure through aldosterone, but you have to find your medication. Do not stack two different meds. It's overkill. I mean, I don't think that a cardiologist will approve this taking two different meds unless you have a serious blood pressure, you know. So telmisartan is a step further than, I guess, losartan. So um, take telmisartan, but find the proper dose. There's 40, there's 80. I mean, you shouldn't do it yourself, of course. You should be consulted by a cardiologist.
Fair enough. Yeah. Next one is: I am taking 1 IU HGH, human growth hormone, before bed. If I raise the dose, I get daytime somnolence, I get sleepy, and lethargy as well as a bit watery. I'm using HGH for quality of life only. Is 1 IU acceptable / worthwhile in the long term?
Yes, you can go for this. And by the way, check out your HF1 levels to see how elevated it is with 1 IU. I bet it's going to be within the range.
What's like a normal what's a normal range for that, do you know?
HF1,
Yeah.
I mean, definitely with, if you check it out right after, with 3 IUs, I bet you're going to catch the upper range. You know, its lab has different, but you can spike this with 4 IUs for sure.
I hope so. Geez, that's a good amount. Okay. Next one is: what would you suggest for someone who has total tests in normal range, about 550, but his LH is very low and free T is crushed? Prolactin is fine, estradiol in high normal range, and SHBG also in high normal range. Thyroid is very good, and cortisol may be in high normal range. So total test
Yes,
normal.
I have noticed this several times in a case study in my office. So what we do here, first of all, we administrate mestelone and DHT synthetic, boron and DHA also, and then as a second protocol after this, we will do a PCT. Now it's important to do in this sequence because DHT and mestelone will suppress the HPDA, and I've seen within 1 month the symptoms improve dramatically of the sex drive, but the HPDA is remarkably suppressed, and then we need to lift the HPDA. So mestelone, proviron, and DHT cream improve the symptoms of the free testosterone that works, but in the paper, I mean, total testosterone and LH are suppressed. And then we restore the HPDA by elevating LH, total testosterone. The point is that through the PCT, also SHBG will elevate. Another option is do the following: use low dose of clomiphene and low dose of mestelone all the way. In this way, we keep the LH activated. We keep also the total testosterone. By the mestelone, we keep the free testosterone elevated. We lower the SHBG, but the point is clomid and mestelone are contradicted. Clomid elevates SHBG, mestelone proviron lowers SHBG. But as a maintenance protocol, we may use this, let's say 25 proviron 25, clomiphene all the way. Okay.
Mysterolone is Masteron?
Proviron.
Oh, Proviron. See, guys, that's why I have the doctor here.
You can live on proviron without testosterone, but someday your testosterone will be super low. Your total, not your free, your total. So it's different, the total from the free. Total doesn't work. The free works, but even as DHT itself will suppress the HPDA. You're going to feel good, but in the paper, you're going to have low LH and total T.
I'd rather feel good. All right. Next one, Primo. Primobolan is known for its anti-estrogenic properties. What ratio would you run it alongside test to control estrogen? Would you do a 1-to-1 ratio?
I believe the Primo, the Winslow, and the Anavar do not aromatize, but Masteron has more anti-estrogenic properties. So some people mix testosterone with Masteron because they don't want to use an aromatase inhibitor. But the only benefit out of Primo is that you'll not be worried about extra estrogen. I don't think that Primo will lower your estrogens, but you'll not be concerned of creating extra estrogens. But Masteron has anti-estrogenic properties as DHT synthetic, okay? Proviron also. Yeah. So stacking the Masteron and Proviron together, it may be more beneficial.
Yeah, I don't know where he heard about Primo being anti-estrogenic. I've never heard that either.
Listen, I mean, Winslow, Primo, and Anavar are the same origin, DHT, derivatives. Yeah. But DHT synthetic itself, which is Proviron and Master, are more beneficial rather than using Primo, Winslow, or Anavar.
Okay, here we go. Here's a good one. Is it a mental illness if someone always feels the desire to be bigger, stronger, or more shredded, even risking one's health? How could this be addressed? Cognitive behavioral therapy, antidepressants, etc.?
Listen, I think it deviates from the normal standards of psychology and psychiatry because we have the muscle dysmorphia thing, okay? Yeah. And especially, you know, that competitive bodybuilding, it's a self-destructive sport because we harm our health, okay? And we improve dramatically the way we look and we feel. Not necessarily because, I mean, many people suffer with weight weights and paranoia with using drugs. So if you go to any kind of psychiatrist, he'll say, if you're a bodybuilder, you're in love with yourself, you have low self-esteem issues, and perhaps this will lead to SSRIs. But the difference is that taking testosterone and anabolic steroids, but taking testosterone will give you a lift in terms of your emotional status. Taking SSRIs on top of this will give you hypomania or mania, super high, you know, the emotion. So I think definitely the Adonis complex issue and the muscle dysmorphia deal with low self-esteem, because even Arnold said, I look like shit. He was just before the show because he was seeking for perfection. Nevertheless, this is not normal for a human being. You look, I mean, like a statue, and you find, and you look, and you're missing that particular detail. Let's say your nipple or in the fold of the skin. You know?
Yeah, right.
So this means that you're never satisfied, and has to do with, I don't know, perhaps low self-esteem, because there are people that are out of shape and they're satisfied the way they look. But I don't think SSRIs would be a good idea stacking with testosterone, because you'll go super high in emotional status, hyper. Okay. I don't know. I mean, it's more in terms of you need to speak with somebody to cool down and say, yeah, you look way above the average. You look like the 1% of the society, but you can't convince somebody who's going for championship. Okay.
Anybody who's trying to do anything extraordinary in life, they're going to have to take it to extremes. If someone's trying to build a business empire, you know, maybe they work 18 hours a day. Maybe, you know, I mean, it's other people would say you're crazy.
Above the average, yeah.
Yeah. Why do you need to do that? Why do you need all that money? Why do you need all these muscles? You know, but you bring up a good point. That book, The Adonis Complex, I believe it's Dr. Harrison Pope at Harvard University, right here near where I am. I think he came up with that whole term and the whole muscle dysmorphia. He's done studies, psychological studies on lots of men and stuff. And yeah, we see the examples like with the guys with the synthol out to here. You know, they're clearly, that's a mental illness when you go that far.
Also, the runaway fashion models, they're 100 pounds and they feel they are bulky and they want to lose and they want to wear the extra small size.
Yeah.
And they're paranoid if they gain 1 pound on the scale, you know?
Yeah, that's anorexia. We're like reverse anorexics. If you never feel, you look in the mirror, you're always skinny, you're never big enough. But why would you go to the gym otherwise? You just sit home and watch Netflix like everybody else. All right, let's get back to drugs. Here we go. When using 100 milligrams of farmer grade Libido a week, injected once every Friday, and 300 milligrams of underground Sustanon, injecting 150 milligrams on Monday and 150 milligrams on Thursday, so a total of 400 milligrams per week. How high should my total testosterone be? And how high should my free testosterone be? What about SHBG and prolactin? The reason I'm asking is I want to check out if my UGL Sustanon is underdosed. Thus, I'm waiting for my lab results.
The best way to verify this by taking off the libido and using the underground itself.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, how would you know if you're using both of them? If you're using both, then the libido.
If you're using both of them, all the work is done by the libido. Then, if you're using, let's say, the underground shit, then take it off the legitimate and use the crap by itself to see how crap it is.
Boy, everybody hates libido over there in Europe. That's all
you should have, if you don't have any other option, go for this because it's real stuff.
But like every week, don't we get somebody from Europe complaining about libido? I think so.
Actually, today I had a doctor who wanted me to prescribe some stuff to live for his country because he's Italian that lives in Scandinavia. He said, I'm using half cc of libido every week. And I'm using a whole bottle of libido for 2 months. And actually, my trough levels are 600. He feels great with that.
600 is not low.
Microdoses the libido every week, half a mil. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, obviously, if you take something like every couple of weeks, you're gonna have these crazy troughs. All right, let's go. Oh boy, I have a scary question. Scary question for both. Is it true that men on HRT, like myself, will live shorter but have a better quality of life, rather than men that are natural, which will live longer but have a poor quality of life? Is it because HRT can give you heart and blood vessel issues and can increase the risk of heart attack and stroke? Is it possible to live longer and have a good quality of life while on HRT?
So this is BS totally, because it is proved that low testosterone linked to mortality. Low testosterone is linked to diabetes. Low testosterone linked to cardiovascular disease. And when we mean HRT, we don't mean stacking little cycles together, but doing optimized dose of androgens, which is testosterone, testosterone, DHEA, also some HCG, and perhaps occasionally as a life-expanding protocol, very low doses of GH. It's not like preserving muscle gains from cycles. And now, if you abuse testosterone, will create problems like aromatization, astrocytosis, blood pressure. But of course, this does not refer to the prescribed doses of 100, 200 milligrams per week. All right. And quality of living does not mean I'm jacked and I'm feeling great. It means that you're physically and mentally healthy and having also good labs. Being super jacked is the opposite inside and outside. Okay, we know that we have, distorted labs.
Just like we were just saying, there's a big difference between HRT and a cycle. And if you are on cycles all the time, you will shorten your life. I mean, there's no.
HRT does not mean that we use a little bit of anabolic steroids, but the only ergogenic part of the HRT is testosterone and perhaps the GAs. And in what terms the GAs? That will give you some recovery or make you leaner. But the only ergogenic thing is testosterone. Pregnenolone, DHEA, HCG, proviron are not ergogenic. Okay, are cosmetic and also improve the lifestyle.
Yeah,
so I don't find a particular. Now the DECA could be, but use for a short period of time if you have cracked joints, let's say DECA. Now let's say I want to cruise 100 milligrams for the rest of my life. Say this to any doctor and he will deny. He'll turn you down. Now we can heal a little bit the dryness of the joints, but do not take this for granted for the rest of your life. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, doctor, he says you stated in a previous episode that using underground gear may increase the risk of Alzheimer's because of the heavy metals they might contain. Are you implying that if I stay on HRT for life on underground gear, I will get Alzheimer's? If that's the case, should I stop HRT? In my country, it's almost impossible to find pharma grade testosterone. So people here have to rely on underground labs, even for TRT. What can I do?
This guy is oversimplifying the things he's getting the wrong message. First of all, Alzheimer's is another result only of heavy metals. Actually, Trenbolone leads to Alzheimer's. The Trenbolone users have kind of dementia and short-term amnesia. Besides, it leads to malfunctions of malformed MRIs. But the Alzheimer is not the result only of heavy metals, as we said, but doesn't mean that using the underground will lead you there. Now, you say that your country doesn't produce testosterone. I mean, I don't believe this is possible for any kind of country not to have testosterone, even for people that have Klinefelter. So it's a little bit, I don't know. I mean, even if it does not exist, which is extremely rare because testosterone is a drug, is a must for the society, maybe go for a private clinic, but do not use underground stuff.
Right. Yeah, I mean, even these countries, their TRT is not widely prescribed for people. I think they all have like Libido, don't they?
Definitely Libido or Enotate or Testosterone. This is in every country because there are people that are born with Klinefelter and they don't have they have testicular failure. All right, but do not say that if you're using underground stuff will lead to Alzheimer. Perhaps heavy metals can lead to this. Trenbolone also can give you Alzheimer. My mother had Alzheimer, but she didn't touch a steroid. Okay, Ronald Reagan also. My mother's dad also. Okay. By the way, DHEA it's prevented to Alzheimer. Okay. No. So yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it should be on that every day. I mean, we talk about DHEA all the time anyway. It's something people should be using. All right, next one is question. Just from a libido perspective, do you think that living on a higher dose of HCG only for life will make you more horny and give you more desire rather than living on a smaller dose of HCG and testosterone? A lot of men swear that HCG monotherapy makes them a lot more horny than using both testosterone and HCG together. If that's the case, isn't it better to stay on HCG monotherapy forever?
Now, HCG improves the libido during TRT because it improves the intratesticular testosterone. And also, PCT users in my office have noticed that during the first part of the PCT, the HCG microdose monotherapy, their libido improves a lot compared to the SERM's phase that follows. The point is that if you use HCG, you'll shut off your gonadotropins, okay, because it's a synthetic form. And you cannot use it for life because in a larger dose, definitely because it will desensitize your receptors. All right. And after a while, listen, you can restore your HPDA with HCG. So stop using HCG because you'll be considered also of aromatization of this testosterone that will produce. So the point is, even after a cycle, use the HCG, but then stop it. You cannot use HCG all the way. But nothing beats testosterone. Come on. Testosterone is a real deal hormone. And you use HCG as part of the HRT because you want to avoid the shrinkage and the shutdown of the testicles because, of course, they will downsize, they will shrink due to the testosterone use.
testosterone in general is great for your libido. I don't know why you need it any higher than
Some
that.
people have high CGPT. Also, some
Mm.
people get used to testosterone. That's why you administer Provira and HG. Okay, but some people, are paranoid, and you have to know that libido is a part of a cerebral thing. It's psychology, 100%. Okay, it's not just a matter of how much testosterone I have in paper.
Yeah. Next question is a good one because my son has ulcerative colitis. A couple bodybuilders, Robin Strand from Canada found out he has it, Carlos Thomas Jr. So this is becoming more of a thing. Guy says, I suffer from ulcerative colitis for the last 12 years. I am on biological therapy. My case is pretty persistent. I've also been on TRT for the last 2.5 years. I'm 29 years old and have been in the fitness industry for the last 11 years. Urologist and gastroenterologist agreed upon TRT. The thing is, that both of them, believe it or not, suggested mild steroid cycles since I'm already on TRT and have an active lifestyle of nandrolone, oxandrolone, and methinolone. Wow. In order to improve my well-being and counter the disease's side effects, such as excessive fatigue, malnutrition, anemia, enteropathic arthritis, cortisolemia, negative nitrogen balance, etc. So my question is, since those steroids aren't available at pharmaceutical grade in Europe, how can I get them online and be sure the quality is decent? Oh boy.
He's wrong. Primo is available in Spain, in Turkey, and Deca was available in Greece and many other countries. So stop using the UGL, and go perhaps for a low dose of randralone, which is more anabolic than Primo and less expensive, of course.
Yeah.
But I would say testosterone will cover you. 200 milligrams of testosterone will reverse your wasting, perhaps. You don't need to be a bodybuilder. You need to reverse the wasting and have better quality of life.
Yeah. But I can tell you it's very hard for people with ulcerative colitis to put on muscular body weight. My son is 23. He'll be 24 in September. He's only 145 pounds, and I was already over 200 pounds at that age. He eats and eats, and the food just goes like right through him. It doesn't seem to get absorbed. It's terrible.
The other point, he will not suffer from being obese like many Americans.
No, he'll never be fat. No, he's always got abs. He's always lean, but
see, many people suffer. They want to diet every Monday,
Yeah, well, I got him some mass gain or some stuff from Muscle Tech that's like 1,500 calories a serving. So let's see what happens.
People that are blessed of eating, and other people that they complain that I don't eat nothing and I look like the bulldoze.
Yeah. I'll tell you, if you're 600 pounds, don't tell me you're not eating, because that 600 pounds didn't come from nowhere. All right, let's shift gears to thoughts on the immune system when on cycle and how to improve it, and your thoughts on Nolvadex/naloxone shrinking existing gyno. I run 100 test prop, 250 test enanthate, 250 EQ, and 25 to 50 milligrams T-ball. So that's Turinabol. Kickstart for the first 6 weeks of cycle. I also run 80 milligrams a week of Nolvadex for gyno. What should I supplement for kidney health and general well-being? Wow, that's a lot of. So I guess immune system health on cycle. What would you suggest to improve, take, or do?
Immune system.
Yeah, how would you keep the immune system healthy on cycle?
Check out the cortisol, because cortisol also enhances the immune system. Check out also your CBC, and check out the white blood cells. If you overtrain, the white blood cells go down. That means you don't have a good response. And this guy, literally he uses many drugs, and then he wants also kidney health. So you cannot have it all. Check out your blood pressure, but it's off because there's no free lunch. You cannot have a massive stack. And by the way, Nolvadex does not prevent gyno. It's too late. It's when gyno is already established. So when you start a cycle, you should use Arimidex in the first place to avoid creating estrogens.
Once you have gyno, you need surgery.
When you have gyno, you should use Nolvadex to occupy the receptors. But the estrogens are already being created. So in order to avoid this, is as a preventive method to start aromatase inhibitor from the beginning.
Would Nolvadex reverse gyno if it's just
You can
started?
reverse gyno, I mean, up to a point, and if it's reversible, but better start with an aromatase inhibitor. And if you're losing this and gyno is established, then use Nolvadex.
Okay. Almost done. Curious to hear your opinion on using 7-keto DHEA instead of straight DHA to avoid conversion to estradiol. This is what Dr. Rand McClain suggests.
7 keto is just for fat burning. It does not interfere with the steroidogenesis, unlike the regular DHA that will metabolize also DHT to estrone to testosterone in women more, So one of for fat burning, I think it deals with mitochondria, and the other one is completely hormonal thing.
Can you suggest a dosage protocol for 7-keto DHEA?
7 keto, I think it's up to 100 milligrams a day, no more.
Okay, cool. All right, our final question. DHT has been consistently above reference range, and I'm experiencing hair loss. I reduced to 90 milligrams test per week, 2 injections per week of 45 milligrams. Latest labs, total T 1035, free T 137 PG over ml with a reference range of 46 to 224. So you're doing well. And DHT 97 nanograms per deciliter with a reference range of 12 to 65. Oh, so he's high on that. Doc recommends taking half a milligram of finasteride twice per week on injection days. What are your thoughts on finasteride? I've heard stories about finasteride syndromes. Any thoughts on ways to stop hair loss? We all want to keep our hair.
Dutasteride is even better than finasteride. It will cut off both receptors, 1 and 2 for DHT. And also for hair loss, you should use minoxidil foam ketoconazole shampoo, all right, and replace finasteride with dutasteride, which is the Avodart, I think it's the dutasteride, rather than the Proscar, which is the finasteride.
Somebody pointed out after our last video that we talked about it that dutasteride is not available in the United States. That's why we all have finasteride here.
Really?
Yeah. Because I was wondering, how come I don't hear anybody talking about dutasteride? Everyone I know that's trying to stop their hair loss, it's minoxidil and Rogaine.
In Greece, we have actually. I have a patient who's 60 years old with prostate cancer. He doesn't want to get operated, and he uses dutasteride every day along with DIN and moderate use of testosterone and occasional aromatase inhibitor. But you can use also some cosmetics like the foam, minoxidil, and the ketoconazole shampoo that cuts off the scalp DHT. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we should all have hair like you, doctor. What a beautiful head of hair! You'll be 50. What are you, like 3 weeks away? When's your birthday? July?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's coming up. 50. You're staying super, super lean. Yeah, look at that. I don't think you've put on maybe a pound, 2 pounds of fat since your photo shoot. And that was like 6 months ago.
A little bit. Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit heavier, And my lightest was when I returned from the States. It was 192.
No.
I think, too much of an...
You've been dieting for like a year at that point, I think. You were dieting for a long time for Parachute. But got that magazine articles forever. So yeah, cool. Well, that's it. Guys, if you have questions, please leave them in the comments. Share these videos on your social media platforms if you like them. Also, hit that like button. Drop comments even if you don't have a question. We'd love to hear your feedback. Subscribe to the channel. Do all that good stuff. Turn on your notifications, that bell there, so you know we have so much great content on this channel. And we're so privileged to have Dr. George Tsoulianos every week here, a medical doctor who is also a champion bodybuilder, walks the walk, talks the talk, answers questions that almost no other doctor in the world would be able to answer for you. So we're very blessed to have him here every week. Thank you so much, George. Appreciate it. And that's it. Check us out next week here again on Ask Dr. Testosterone. Thanks for watching. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.